Dare a member of a global group speak when the others choose to remain silent? That's what happened when Jin suddenly emerged as the only courageous voice, while Jungkook was completely silent. A big question arises. Why did only Jin speak up? And what is the meaning of Jungkook's silence that made armies around the world cry? The shocking statement was born not from vague rumors or fan speculation, but from a public moment that was clearly recorded. In an atmosphere full of tension, Jin seemed no longer able to hold back the passive attitude he had maintained all this time. The sentence he uttered carried a greater weight than just a personal expression. He seemed to bear the voice that other members never spoke. On the other hand, Jungkook, who is known to be vocal and full of energy, chose to remain completely silent. This contrast shook the hearts of millions of fans. For ARMY, Jungkook's silence cannot be seen as a coincidence. The figure who is usually able to express his feelings suddenly chose not to make any statements. Many assess that Jungkook's silence is a form of subtle resistance, while others assume that he is trapped in a situation that is too complicated to express openly. Questions after questions flooded online discussion rooms. Is he being pressured, or is he consciously choosing silence as a form of protection? Meanwhile, Jin's courage sparked another debate. Why is he the only one talking? Is this a form of responsibility as the oldest member, or does he represent the same anxiety that the public should not know at all? His firm sentence, although not explicitly detailed, gives the impression that something bigger is happening behind the glamorous stage of the Korean entertainment industry. ARMY was torn between admiration and worry. Admiration because Jin dared to take risks, worried because the statement might trigger unexpected consequences. The drama of the situation is increasingly visible from the emotional reactions of the fans. ARMY's tears are not just an expression of sadness, but also a form of helplessness when witnessing their idols in a difficult position. They are used to seeing togetherness, laughter, and solidarity, but this time what appears is a gap in communication. One speaks, one is silent. The contrast left a deep emotional wound for the global community that has stood as loyal supporters. What makes this situation even more worrying is the unclear direction. Jin's statement did not answer all the questions, while Jungkook's silence only increased curiosity. This is where wild theories emerge among fans, ranging from internal problems, pressure from management, to allegations of personal issues that they don't want to be exposed. Each theory develops rapidly, driven by curiosity mixed with deep concern. However, there are also more rational voices. Some industry observers assess that the difference in attitude between Jin and Jungkook reflects a deliberately chosen communication strategy. Jin, with his mature position and longer experience, may feel responsible for providing some clarity. Jungkook, on the other hand, may choose to remain silent to avoid misunderstandings or greater negative impacts. Whatever the reason, this strategy of silence and speech still causes emotional shock. The public's reaction to this moment was extraordinary. Social media was filled with hashtags, lengthy analyses, to reaction videos featuring ARMY crying and confused. This phenomenon proves how big BTS's influence is not only as a music group, but also as an emotional symbol that can move millions of people around the world. The silence of a Jungkook alone is enough to cause a massive wave of feelings, while Jin's courage is a sign that there is something that can no longer be covered up. Ironically, this event highlights the fragile side of the relationship between artists and fans. ARMY is used to getting positive messages, full of motivation and transparency from BTS, but this time they are faced with a painful mystery. This situation forces fans to ask, how much do they really know about their idol's condition, and how much is actually hidden to maintain their image? In the end, what remains is a silence full of question marks. Jin has lit a spark with his courage, but the fire of questions has not been extinguished because Jungkook remains silent. ARMY can only guess, speculate, and hope that one day an honest answer will be given. Until that day comes, this moment will continue to be a collective wound, remembered as a time when courage and silence stood side by side, shaking the emotions of millions of hearts that love them. Are we really witnessing a truth being revealed? Or are we trapped in a vortex of narratives deliberately formed to shake public emotions? This question becomes important when discussing the phenomenon of Jin daring to speak while Jungkook remains silent, a moment that managed to provoke tears from ARMY around the world. But are we sure that this event is real? Or is it just a scenario neatly arranged to attract media attention? Let's examine it further. Many say that Jin's courage is proof that there is something serious behind the scenes, something that can no longer be covered up. However, on the other hand, some suspect that this drama was only created to create a viral wave on social media. If this is just a strategy, the question is, who benefits? Is it management, the media, or even fans who consciously or unconsciously participate in amplifying the echo of this issue? Jungkook's silence also raises deeper philosophical questions. Is his silence a sign of sadness, a form of pressure, or a communication strategy? Or is that silence just a piece of narrative that has been exaggerated, so that the public is trapped in an emotional interpretation that he never intended? Don't we often only see what is shown in front of the camera, without ever knowing what is really happening behind it? At this point, we must honestly admit that the sources of information circulating mostly come from TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, to media snippets that are often unclear in credibility. Is it appropriate for us to immediately believe information whose truth has not been verified? Or are we being played by social media algorithms that deliberately promote sensational issues for as many interactions, comments, and clicks as possible? This question deserves our reflection. Furthermore, is it true that Jin is the only one who dares to speak? Or are there actually other statements from other members that did not receive media attention? If the information we receive is only a fragment, isn't there a high possibility that we are seeing a manipulated piece of narrative? Doesn't social media often present a distorted reality, so that we react more often to drama than understanding the facts? Another question that is no less important: why is ARMY so easily carried away by emotions to the point of mass crying? Is this a reflection of sincere love for idols, or is it proof of how strongly the media shapes perceptions and directs collective emotions? If a short video alone can make millions of people react, does this show the power of truth or the power of illusion? This is where the importance of skepticism lies. We are invited not only to consume information, but also to test its truth. Did Jin's statement really come out in the intended context, or has it been cut and given a sensational title to make it easier to sell? Does Jungkook's silence really mean pressured, or is it just a public interpretation that is thirsty for drama? And if this is just engineering, haven't we all become part of the big game of the entertainment industry that makes our emotions a commodity? There is nothing wrong with feeling empathy, even crying. But are we willing if those tears turn out to fall because of a scenario created for a specific purpose? Do we really know our idols, or do we only know the version chosen by management and the media? Aren't these questions important for us to reflect on before being swept away deeper in the current of issues that are not necessarily true? In the end, we are not being asked to choose whether Jin is right or Jungkook is wrong. We are faced with a bigger choice. Do we want to be passive viewers who simply believe in narratives? Or do we want to be critical viewers who dare to question the truth behind every piece of information? ARMY, and also the public at large, should take a reflective stance. Because without a critical attitude, we will only continue to be objects of media manipulation.